I wasted 250 hours of my life to play Deadlock, and boy are we gonna get into it. I'm sure all you guys have seen Deadlock boom into popularity recently, and it's for very good reason. With MOBAs kind of dying out, it was a rare surprise to see Valve create another one, although I can't say I had any expectation for it. I know there's gonna be some dipshit comparing this game to something like Valorant or CSGO, but you are so fucking wrong when it comes to what this game is. Now, I personally love MOBAs. I played League of Legends for about 10 years. Boo! And I properly parked my ass in Diamond since Season 4, all the way up until 2023. I then decided to stop hating myself and start playing better games. So I hopped on Dota for about 830 hours, which sounds like a lot until you realize you need about 1,000 hours to stop being a new player. Having said that, I've only touched Archon 5 and a little bit of Legend 1. All this to say is I have a decent amount of experience in the MOBA genre. I feel like I could give you an honest take on how good or bad Deadlock actually is. Disclaimer though, this game technically isn't even out, so everything I say is subject to change. Alright, let's start the actual video. Now keep in mind this is a MOBA, and it already has it all. There's flaming, feeding teammates, slurs in every other game, and broken, unbalanced bullshit that you'll have to deal with. Now I already know I sold it to some of you, but there are genuine positives when it comes to this game. Yoshi, aka Ice Frog, who is a majority reason as to why Dota is so popular and successful, is now the lead developer on Deadlock, so the game is in good hands. Unsurprisingly, the dev team decided to take what was good with Dota and build upon it. A majority of characters in Deadlock and Dota 2 share so many similarities with how they play, which makes it so incredibly easy to swap between both games and understand what characters could do. And if you have no experience with Dota 2, that doesn't affect your Deadlock experience at all. As long as you have a fundamental idea of how to play MOBAs, you'll be able to pick up the game no problem. Now, is the game easy to learn? Absolutely fucking not. Just like Dota, you'll be constantly knowledge checked by other players. Whoever has the most knowledge about the game is most likely to win. Also, if you want to learn, the tutorial is absolutely dog shit. Meaning if you want to actually learn the game, well, you better have a friend that's way better than you, or you better study your ass off watching YouTube videos. There's absolutely nothing intuitive about this game. Here's just a few interactions that you have no idea exist and is never explained to you. If you're ever in a situation where you need to dive under tower to get a kill, well, it turns out you could parry the towers and stun it so you could actually secure your kill. It would have been pretty nice for the tutorial to cover that. If you want another example, you could parry viscous punches, which is kind of integral to countering the character. How about the fact that you can use Dispel Magic and Counterspell on Bebop bombs to 1, drop them on the floor, or 2, negate them entirely. This is knowledge you need because this character scales infinitely per bomb detonated on characters. And I'm not going into the nitty-gritty about every single interaction because I'd be here all day. And while this isn't stuff that you need to know to enjoy this game, but at the same time, who's gonna play this type of game and not want to know all these interactions that could happen in a per game basis? Yes, I know someone in the comments is gonna be like, me, I do that all the time. But that's not the point I'm making here, so you don't matter. MOBAs are inherently competitive, so there's a good chance that the people you play against are heavily optimizing their character and their items, putting people who are playing just for fun at an incredible disadvantage, which is a regular MOBA problem. However, Deadlock circumvents this by allowing you to use publicly available builds made by the community members. And while they're not perfect, they at least get the job done so you can learn the game. The rest is up to you and how invested you are. And again, the game isn't even out yet. This is the perfect time to learn how to play, experiment with characters and items, and just have fun. The current rank system is completely meaningless because it's all gonna fade into nothing when the game releases. So what's the point in stressing about ranks? And while you'll occasionally get the miserable dickhead or absolute chud using comms, if you're the type of person that thrives in trying to improve constantly through struggle and adversity, this game is miserably addicting. You'll find hours of your life disappearing from reality as you grind game after game after game. What Deadlock does so well is that there's a huge variety of play styles. The common misconception is that Deadlock primarily focuses on shooting, which is completely incorrect. Yes, it is a huge aspect, but learning how to utilize a character's kit properly will bring you so much farther than just aiming well. And of course, there's characters that cater to those types of players, but if you feel like you're incapable of piloting those characters, there are plenty of other options. Now, the unfortunate reality is, gun and shooting builds are incredibly dominant, so much so that characters that don't even specialize in guns still go those builds, which is entirely on the devs for making a problem currently, but it can be argued that it gives variety to every single character, even though sometimes it results in boring metas. Because as stated before, MOBA players tend to go with the most popular and efficient options, though most likely this is a problem that gets fixed on an actual release. The success of Deadlock is the natural evolution of a MOBA. Going from a bird's eye view to a third-person perspective just gives you so much more control over your character, as well as agency. This also forces the devs to make things more clear, instead of the visual clusterfuck that you could find in League of Legends or Dota.
League. Welcome to the fuck zone!
For the most part, Deadlock team fights are very visually clear, allowing players and viewers to have a better understanding of the overall gameplay. They also went all in on making the map feel more alive, with constant objectives that are both minor and major, allowing team fights to break out more often and more organically. But also, rather than sitting in a lane for 20 minutes, farming wave after wave, you could go do other shit on the map. Between jungle camps, sinners, earn runs, mid-boss, and overall base objectives, you and your team will have plenty of things to think about throughout an entire game. Now, you can stay in a lane and farm all game. Straight up hyper carries that could turn the tide of the game by themselves is completely unheard of in Deadlock. One player can only dictate so much that happens. It's an overall good thing to build healthy team coordination and objective taking. With enough knowledge, even the weakest member of a team could turn the tide of a match in a matter of moments. Even better yet, getting absolutely smushed in lane is not the deciding factor of whether or not you win or lose a match. You could essentially go 0-7 in lane and still be at or equivalent in soul value to the person who smushed you. A game is only lost when you or your team mentally boom and do not wish to come back. So you might as well play it out. A game that can be winnable despite all odds is a feeling that is so unlike any other MOBA, with exception to Dota 2, of course. If this is the current product that Valve is producing, and it's not even remotely close to being done, this is one of the most exciting games to come out in the near future. And you get to play it entirely for free! It does not get better than that. Now, if you want to play today, there's a little bit of a roadblock. Currently, the only way to play Deadlock is by already knowing someone who has the game. After that, it's as simple as just receiving a friend invite. Now, it might take up to 48 hours, but you'll be able to eventually play. Well, what happens if you don't know anybody? Well, lucky for you, you could join the MoemiRat Discord. Check the link below for details. Or I guess you could join the Deadlock community Discord. So, the real question, is Deadlock worth actually playing? Even accounting for all my bias towards MOBAs, it is a resounding yes. There's something here for everyone. And worst case, if you don't love it, you've lost nothing. Anyways, that's all for this video. If you'd like to support me and this channel, check out my Patreon. Huge shout out to Marble Moonstone, Famine, Yeetsy, Colton, Chain, Void, Burger, Dondry Bell, Cal the Newt, Lil Zazel, Dell, Salaman, Broken Armor, Koki, Jonathan, Wah Wah Wah, Karma, Mebit98, Yes Man, Propanus Momanius, TGP Holly, Yeet the Meat. Thank you guys for your constant support. Don't forget, I stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/MoemiRat. See you guys next time.